All right, good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning, and I hope wherever you are at that you're safe and well with all the crazy weather it's been going on in the northern regions of the United States. Yeah, things pretty crappy here, but we're here. All right, so I'm gonna go through uh, the the watched games first, and we'll go through this, and then we'll touch up on a couple highlighted games in the end. So yeah, Binghamton officially has punched their ticket to the postseason. Not really a surprise. An 11-5 win. Yeah, lots of offense in this game. Um, so it was kind of the opposite of what happened on Friday night, where the Venom took a quick lead. We started the game off with Sokolov in goal for the Venom and Nolan Egbert for the Black Bears. And it is a quick 4-0 lead that the Black Bears take. Just a minute 24 in, it's CJ Stubbs scoring on the power play because the Venom started the game with a pregame violation. The ironic thing about the time of the goal was that was the exact same time that the Venom scored their first goal on Friday. So, numerology, I don't know. Just a few seconds later, it's Don Oliveri scoring 7:46. Yeah, this was a strange goal. Tyson Kirkby scoring while sitting on his backside, sliding across, gets a backhand, flips it over Sokolov's shoulder. It's kind of interesting. And then Austin Thompson scores at 14:22. The Venom, they want to get in on the scoring. So Danila Belov, he scores at 17:54. Just when you thought the first period was over, no, it is Serrata scoring 19:49. So yeah, 5-1 at the end of one. Shots were 18-6, and that was the end of Sokolov's night. In came Rahul Sharma for the last two periods. Unfortunately, he did not fare much better. Um, the Venom get themselves somewhat into this. They get goal by Panavinov at 105 in the second period, and then Connor Craig, he scores in a 5-on-3 power play situation. Black Bears getting a little sloppy, so that's 5-3. But Black Bears would rattle off a string of goals. It is Dakota Bond scoring at 10:37. Scott Ramaker scoring at 12:35. And then the weirdest thing I've ever seen. A tangle out in the ice, and Lester Brown tries a WWE move, trying to do the suplex or something. I'm not sure what that was, but anyway, it was not interpreted well by the officials, and they said you're done for the day. Um, gets a match penalty for intent to injure. It looked more comical than anything else, really. But anyway, yeah, Lester Brown's night was done at 14:55, and then 16:48, Dakota Bond scores again on the power play. So that makes it 8-3 at that point. Shots through 2:34 for Binghamton, 13 for the Venom. But again, kind of like Friday night, Venom score on the few shots they get. So 3 shots and 13, or 3 goals and 13 shots, not bad. Third period, it's Austin Thompson scoring in the first minute. It's Chris Mott scoring, and then CJ Stubbs scores at 8:26. That makes it 11-3. The Venom get a couple of goals late. Lenski scores at 13:41, and there's a delayed penalty, so an extra attacker. Panavinov scores again. That's his second of the game at 14:42, and that makes it 11-5. And that's the way we would end the game. So final shots 44-22 in favor of Binghamton. Um, as I said, they clinched their playoff spot. 34-4-1. Venom, they've lost 11 in a row now. 7-22-3. Announced crowd of 3859. That's based on ticket sales, not butts in the seats. A lot of people ended up not showing up because of the snow and ice that the Binghamton area was getting. So for the game, Panayvanov, 2 goals, Belov with a goal as well. So Sharma ends up in the 40 minutes he plays, well, actually 39:59. He stops 20 of 26. Sokolov stopped 13 of 18 in the first period. For the Black Bears, you had Kirkby with a goal and 4 assists, Yates with 4 assists, Don Alveri with a goal and 3 assists. A lot of offense go around. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players for the Black Bears that had at least 2 points in the game. Nolan Egbert stopped 17 of 22 for the win. And that's that. This was, wow, ugly. Um, we found out that Danbury and Port Huron do not like each other. I think there was, I think this was the most fights of any game last night. 3 games conducts given out. So yeah. Oh, Kiwi. It's early. So for this game, the hat tricks end up on the board first. It's Joshua Bell scoring at 19:39 of the first period, getting a puck past Reed Cooper, who was in goal for the Port Huron Prowlers. Connor McCollum manning the net for the hat tricks as he did on Friday night. In the second period, 4:06, it is Reggie Millette. He ties things up. Then at 6:34, we have our first of a couple different big Donnybrooks. And Frolov gets tossed. Brockway gets tossed. Um, yeah, it was pretty crazy. There was like 3 different fights, but not simultaneously. It was like this fight, and then this fight, and then this fight. It's kind of crazy. Um, so once we finally got back to playing hockey, is Lucas Lackney scoring at 18:15 of the second period, and then Austin Federley scores at 19:36. So it's 3-1 Port Huron at the end of 2 shots through 2 periods were 22 for the hat tricks and 26 for the Port Huron Prowlers. Port Huron Prowlers got 19 shots on goal in that second period. And then in the third period, we had things kind of staying the same for quite a while. McCollum gets pulled, and no sooner does he get pulled than Matt Graham scores the goal into the empty net at 18:14. And that gives him the Gordie Howe hat trick because Graham was in one of those fights in the whole melee at 6:34 of the second period. He assisted on Lackney's goal. So yeah, Gordie Howe hat trick and that's why I put him in red. Um, for Matt Graham. Late in the game, Connor Woolley scores to make it 4-2. The hat trick's looking for some life, but they ran out of time. And so, yeah, in a very ugly game in which there was fights and penalties and all sorts of mayhem, Port Huron ends up splitting the weekend series as I predicted. So Danbury is 20-11-6. The Hat Tricks are still in second place in the Empire. The Port Huron Prowlers 20-15-4 get the win, but they don't make up any ground in the standings. 1183 the announced attendance, which I've got to give a big kudos to because I think Port Huron got the worst weather of anybody. There was already about 10 inches of snow on the ground. During the game, about another 4 inches fell, and they were supposed to get an additional 10 inches overnight. So just a huge storm that hit the eastern Michigan area, and still 1183 showing up. and that looked like an actual crowd too. That looked like, yeah, that's butts in the seats. So anyway, for the game, Connor Woolley, a goal and an assist. Josh LaBelle had the other goal for the hat tricks. McCollum stops 31 of 34. Total time on ice 58-33. For the Prowlers, Graham with that Gordie Howe hat trick. He even did it a little better. 2 assists and 2 fights. The only thing that was missing was a second goal. Lucas Slackney, also a goal and 2 assists. And Reed Cooper, he gets to win, saving 32 of 34. All right, so next game of the Bobcats. And it wasn't that they lacked offense this last weekend. It's that Columbus found their mojo again with the defense um, and great goaltending. Sammy Bernard, I spoiler alert, he's going to be the star of the week as far as goalies go. He let up 2 goals all weekend. Fantastic performance by Sammy Bernard. And the only goal he gave up was kind of weird. Let's get into that. So it's Hunter Verostek against Sammy Bernard. Verostek, the Blue Ridge Bobcats, looking at this is our best shot to hang with these guys. And for a while they did. Kind of like Friday's game. It wasn't a blowout. It was a very hard-fought game. Both teams had great opportunities, but the River Dragons just found ways of capitalizing. So, 4:31 of the first period, it is Ryan Hunter. This was really about the only quote unquote bad goal I'd say that the Bobcats gave up. It was just a defensive breakdown. And Justin McDonald fed streaking Ryan Hunter, who scores, put the River Dragons up early. Later in the period, it's right at 9 minutes. A goal that originally was credited to Justin Daly ends up going to Jakob Wolf. The shot ended up going off of Sammy Bernard's mask, deflecting in. So that's what I was saying. It's like weird goal. But anyway, that tied things up. It was 11 shots each for the 2 teams in the first period. In the second period, Cody Wickline scores at 31 seconds in, and that would end up being the game winner. Nobody knew that at the time, though, because it was a very good game. Very exciting game. Both teams, fantastic opportunities. Both goaltenders making fantastic saves throughout. And I thought that the guy Caden, who did the play-by-play, I thought he was going to lose his voice. Tom Callahan was out of action, so Caden, I'm sorry I forgot your last name, but you did a fantastic job with the play-by-play call, by the way. He was into it as he should have been. Fantastic game. So anyway, 2-1 at the end of 2. Columbus did open it up a little bit, getting 19 shots on goal on Verostek, but Verostek, for the most part, held his own. In the third period, it wasn't until late where Columbus really put this away. Alexander Jemayev, he scores at 14:47. And then the insurance goal from Alex Dorjahan at 15:52. Shots were 17-13 in favor of the Bobcats in the third period, but it was a 4-1 win for the River Dragons. You really can't say much about this game except for just both teams. They generated good offensive opportunities, and the goaltending was fantastic. That sums up the whole game in a nutshell. Wolf with the goal for the Bobcats. Verostek, he stops 39 of 43. Played better than his stats indicated. For the River Dragons, it's Sturgeon and Wickline, both with a goal and an assist. And Sammy Bernard, 37 saves and a helmet for the game. Good crowd on hand, 4,076. The attendance in this game. So the Bobcats, they lose both games this weekend. I thought this was going to end up being a split, but Columbus pulls out both wins. Bobcats are now 18, 14, and 4, but still solidly in that fifth place spot. For the River Dragons, they are currently in third in the Continental with a 22, 10, and 4 record. And then this game, almost. Another. It's another game for the Dashers of close but no cigar. Um, it didn't look that way for a while. It looked like it was just going to be an Athens blowout. But William Lavalier gets the start for the Rock Lobsters, while Parker Rutherford starts for the Dashers. Dashers get on the board early, 7:01. Excuse me, 7:01 into the first. It's like Sievertson scoring on the short-handed situation. So Dashers are up early, but Brandon Reller, he gets his first goal at 9:48. Um, Later on, the first at 16:23, it's Gilkarov scoring. So it was 2-1 in favor of Athens at the end of the first period. If you're a Dashers fan, you're thinking, well, that's not too bad. Shots were 15-5 in favor of Athens. That was a little disconcerting. Second period, Athens just took over. You had Reller with 2 goals in a row. 1:17 he scores, and then he gets his hat trick at 9:09. So not even halfway through the game, and Reller has his hattie. Also, Malik Johnson scores at 10:45. So yeah, 4 goals. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in a row by the Rock Lobsters, and it's looking pretty anemic for the Dashers. But Sewardson scores again at 14:01. So now it's 5-2 at the end of 2 periods. Shots 27 for Athens, 21 for the Dashers. Dashers got some good opportunities in the second period, and then the third, the drama kind of kicked in. Trey Fisher scores at 10:24. It's 5-3. Then Zach Horn scores, also a shorty. So yeah, 2 shorthanded goals by the Dashers. So now it's 5-4, and this is at 13:14. So now the crowd is suddenly alive, and they're thinking, hey, it could happen. We could finally break the streak. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Rutherford gets pulled for the extra attacker, and Virgili rips a shot from about 170 feet away into the empty net, and an assist on that going to William Lavalier. That's at 19:39, and that was it. So 6-4, the win by the Rock Lobsters. They have won 7 in a row now. And of course, we know, 32 in a row and counting for the Dashers. Good crowd on hand, 894. I believe that's the second largest crowd that the Dashers have gotten all year. So you had Rutler with the hat trick. You had Garrett Milan holding on to the scoring lead slightly with 3 assists, plus he gets to play again tonight, and Virgili with a goal and assist. Lavalier stops 30 of 34, plus he gets an apple. For the Dashers, Sewardson with the 2 goals. Zach Horn had a shorthanded goal, and Rutherford, he saves 30 of 35 in 58-38 played. Again, not quite enough. So Athens, 26-4-2, and creeping up in the standings in the Continental Division. Dashers 131-3. So let's get rid of this. We'll touch up on these games real quick. For the Wolves, they get their sweep of the weekend. Another series where I thought it was going to be a split, but the Wolves pulled it out. It was very close through 40 minutes, tied up at 3 at the end of 2 periods. And then the Wolves, they're able to take an opportunity to get the lead, go ahead. 3 of the 6 goals by the Wolves scored with shorties. So we had 2 shorties in the Dashers game, and then 3 shorties here. So not a good situation. And poor Brent Sommerfeld. The shots were kept down, Um, but yeah, just too many pucks coming his way, I guess. 38 shots for the Watertown Wolves, 39 for the Rockers. Very unusual that you see the Rockers out shooting someone and holding someone to 38 shots. So the Rockers' defense was much better. A lot of that is the fact that now they have so many of their older players that have returned and are filling the roster. So for the Rockers, it is Sommerfeld taking the loss. Uh, 59:04 time on ice. He saved 32 of 37. And we had two goals by Chris Corrigan, who, of course, just came over from Monroe. You had Colton getting a couple of assists. Blasdell got a couple of assists as well. Um, for the Wolves, this was kind of interesting. Bouchard started, played the first period, and at that point, at the end of the first period, it was 2-2. I'm not sure if he was hurt or not feeling well, or if Coachman just said, you know what, I just want to change things up. I want to go with Borodkin. So Borodkin comes in the second period. Borodkin stops 26 of 28 in 40 minutes played. Bouchard, 9 of 11 in the save department in the first period. But for the Wolves, Lord had 2 of the 3 shorthanded goals. The other shorthanded goal was by Ludlow Harris. He gets the goal and an assist. And yeah, 6-4 win for the Wolves, who improved to 22-12-1 and hold on to that third place spot in the Empire Division. Motor City falling to 13-22-2. They have now lost 8 straight. Borodkin gets the win. Shots on goal 18-11 in the first in favor of the Wolves. 16-11 in favor of the Rockers in the second, and then the third Rockers held the advantage 12-9, but on the board it was 6-4 in favor of the Wolves. Final game of the night, Carolina Thunderbirds. Kind of a nondescript game. I'm sorry, one other thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, very unusual that Quinn Chevers gets a match penalty for intent to injure, which it's kind of ironic because he was the one that was speared by Trevor Babin in Friday's game, and that kind of looked vicious. Um, Chevers wasn't really happy. I don't know if he had a chip on his shoulder going in this game, but yeah, Trevor was kind of rough. So he's probably looking at a suspension coming up. Anyway, Carolina, they hold on a 4-2 win. It's Mario Cavallari with the win. Only faced 17 shots, saved 15 of them. It's another case of Mississippi just can't generate enough offense. Richie Perrant saves 23 of 27. I'll give the Seawolves this. They kept the shots down on Carolina. But as far as production, you had Clay Keeley, not Nate Keeley, but Clay Keeley with a goal and assist, also by Gus Ford, also by Roman Kramer. And Zach White had a couple of assists as well. The game-winning goal was scored by Gus Ford 43 seconds into the third period for Mississippi. Sam Turner a goal, Brendan Hussey a goal, and that's about all she wrote. Crowd of 2355 on hand at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. And there you go. So Carolina, they climb up a little bit higher. Still in first, of course, 23-7-3. They're trying to keep as much of a buffer space between them and Athens, but Athens does have games in hand. Mississippi 5-32-3. They have now lost 12 in a row. Looking for some answers. Their elimination number is also at 12. Any combination of 12 points gained by Blue Ridge or lost by Mississippi, and Mississippi will be officially eliminated from the playoff picture. Which I know it's kind of a foregone conclusion. The Dashers in Mississippi aren't going to make the playoffs, but math. Anyway, so that's our scenario from Saturday night. tomorrow. I will be doing the 2 game reviews from tonight on the Flash Audio Network. Okay, I don't have time enough in my Monday mornings to do a video. Um, so those will be on the Flash Audio Network. I will be posting on Facebook the updated standings, and then we will be doing a video that I'll be pre-recording today and posting Monday morning. Our stars of the week, plus some interesting thoughts that just kind of crossed my mind, some things that I'm not sure I get, and I just wanted to share them. Just kind of a fun little video. All right. Thank you so much all for watching, for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed to YouTube here, to Facebook, and to the Flash Audio Network. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Have yourselves a wonderful week ahead.